Ready to find some inner peace? We're going deep into all that stress info you gave us, trying to help you not just cope, but really thrive.
That's the goal. We'll find some practical stuff you can use, like right now, based on all that good research and expert advice you collected.
Exactly. We're after actual tips, not just, vague ideas. But before we jump into solutions, got to understand what we're dealing with, right?
Absolutely. Basically, stress is like your body's alarm system. It's there to protect you from danger.
Oh, okay. Like when you almost trip and your heart goes crazy?
Exactly. That's your fight or flight response. It's like a primal instinct from way back, our ancestors. Imagine them facing a saber-toothed tiger. They needed that energy burst to either fight or run. It was life or death.
So we're wired for survival. But the thing is, most of our stress today isn't really life or death, is it?
Exactly. Our bodies haven't quite caught up. That deadline or that inbox overflowing, it's not a predator, but our nervous system. It kind of freaks out anyway.
So instead of a woolly mammoth, we're freaking out about traffic and emails.
Exactly. And that's where the problems start. When we're constantly stressed, that fight or flight is always on, flooding our system with these hormones like adrenaline and cortisol.
Those are the ones that, get us ready to go, right?
Yeah.
But what if we don't actually go anywhere?
Well, then things get messy. Imagine your sympathetic nervous system as the gas pedal in a car. It revs up your heart, your blood pressure, sharpens your focus.
Gotcha. So adrenaline, noradrenaline, those are slamming down on that gas pedal, getting us ready to move.
Yeah, and then you've got cortisol. It's like the fuel injector, giving you that extra energy for action.
So it's like we're in overdrive all the time, even when there's no real danger.
Exactly. And all that unused energy, it's got to go somewhere. That's why stress can show up physically. Headaches, tight muscles, stomach issues, even trouble sleeping. It can really mess with you.
I bet some people are listening right now and nodding along. It's super common, but it's also a sign that we need to get this stress under control.
Absolutely, before it takes over. And it's not just the physical stuff. Chronic stress really messes with your mind and emotions, too.
Oh, I can imagine. It's like a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
You're tense all the time, not sleeping well, maybe having those aches and pains. That can't be good for your mood.
Right. Think about it. If your body's always on high alert, your mind is going to be too. Chronic stress can lead to a whole bunch of emotional and behavioral changes.
So like being irritable, feeling anxious, having trouble focusing, even feeling overwhelmed and avoiding people.
Yeah, all of that. And here's the worst part. Those emotional and behavioral changes, they can actually make your stress even worse. It's a vicious cycle.
Like a downward spiral. Stress feeding on itself. So how do we break free and take back control?
That's what we'll get into next. But first, we need to figure out what's causing all this stress.
Yeah, know your enemy, right? What are the big stress triggers that our sources are pointing to?
Well, there are the usual suspects: work-life balance, relationships, money problems.
Those are pretty universal. And I bet in today's world, with everything so expensive and that always-on work culture, the pressure is even worse.
For sure. Let's start with work-life balance. One of your sources had this stat that was pretty eye-opening. More than 20% of people in the UK work 45 hours or more every week.
That's a huge chunk of their life spent working. It's no surprise people are feeling burnt out and stressed.